Good morning, and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. We are here to take a look at some pitching for today, the 17th of July. It is Friday. It is the first full day back from the All-Star break. We had one game last night. So because of that, we have 14 games on the main slate. 14 games to come back to and break down. Not all of the pitching options listed right now are going to be the ones that start, I don't believe. Teams are still going to finalize what they're going to do, so there could be changes throughout the day before we find out exactly who's going to get the start for most of these teams. I've already seen a couple changes. Payante was originally listed, now it's McGreevy. Kramer is now starting, and when it was originally listed as Bradish, to name two, I think, off the top of my head. But reminder, this is a first look at the options on the slate, and I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you play in FanDuel, cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now, as far as weather goes, a lot of northern or northeastern ballparks dealing with the Canadian wildfire smoke and haze and all that stuff. So we need to pay attention to what their plans are. Obviously, some of that could bother some pitchers too, but it's going to bother everybody. So as long as the game plays, I think we're just going to have to roll with it. There might be some rain in Chicago tonight, but I think we see that game play just fine. So we can just look at everything for what it is. Now, like I mentioned, we do have a 14-game slate, so we have a lot of pitchers to go through, 28 of them as of right now. We're trying to cut that down in half or more to make our afternoon go a little smoother, give us some time to break down the other guys that we're at least considering before we finalize our pitching pool. We'll jump right in with the Dodgers and Yankees. Garrett Cole, Roki Sasaki, big names taking the mound in Yankee Stadium. I think we're just going to have to pass on pitching in this game. We know that Garrett Cole is capable of doing it against anybody, but I don't really want to rely on him in his return, even though obviously he's made, 10 starts or so? 9 starts. But he hasn't been the sharpest in all those starts. He has been great at home, so he should see some positive regression in the runs category based on his hits allowed and walks, etc. And probably needs it from the home run category too. But do we expect regression to hit when he's facing the LA Dodgers? Not really. The other side, Roki Sasaki. There was a point in June and then early July that we were picking on the Yankees with pitching. Not so much anymore. They caught fire. I think they've hit double-digit home runs over the last 4 or 5 games or something. So they're definitely warming up. And Sasaki giving up plenty of home runs. Looks like 9 of them over his last 5 starts. That's quite a few home runs. 19 of them on the season in just 81 innings as well. Right around 2 per 9. Not doing quick math while I'm on the show or recording this, but his home runs allowed are lower on the road, so maybe, but this is also Yankee Stadium where a lot of good things happen for hitters, bad things for pitchers. Tampa Bay, Boston. Game 2 of the doubleheader. It's a split doubleheader, so we shouldn't have to worry about game time start issues. Rivera getting the start. I'm not going to go there. Lefty. A couple of 3-inning performances at the major league level. Has looked decent. Giving up just 2 hits in 7 innings, but I am not taking him against the Rays, who just do not strike out. Mason Englert coming off of his best performance at the major league level as a starter. Was mostly a reliever prior to that. I'm debating using him. I just don't think I'm going to get there. He did throw 101 pitches in that start. Probably somebody we want to look into, see if he went down to the minors and threw a start, a week ago to stay on track. But he has been decent enough to where there might be some upside. So he's somebody we do need to consider as the day progresses. Pitt, Cleveland. From my understanding, this is one of the ballparks that's going to be the worst from a wildfire smoke standpoint. So I do have a little bit of a worry, but I love both of these pitchers for upside. Gavin Williams finished off the first half with a dominant performance against the Twins after he had kind of been in a lull for a little bit. His home numbers very strong. I think there's just a ton of upside against Pittsburgh. It's a dangerous spot because Pittsburgh does have power. Um, when he gets in trouble, especially on the road, it comes via the home run ball and some walks. There's like Jared Jones looked phenomenal in his last start. Perfect through 6, came out at 77 pitches. I think they're going to keep him around the 80 pitch mark, to be honest. So it does kind of cap the upside, but obviously it showed, 30 fantasy point upside. Didn't even get the W in that one. So there is upside there, even in 80 pitches. But we also can't expect him to go perfect, every time out through 5 or 6 innings. Cleveland's lineup been weak enough that I do think Jared Jones is somebody that's super interesting tonight. White Sox, Toronto. I'm not getting to either pitcher. Sean Miles is actually better. Spencer Miles. I don't know why I keep calling him Sean, but Spencer Miles has actually been decent. Problem is we don't really know how many pitches he's going to throw. Could be 60, could be 30. He's been up to 73-ish, so there is ability to stretch him out, but I just don't think we can rely on it. Anthony Kay has been decent at times. I think he's viable, but on some slates, I should say, I don't think he's viable on this one. He struggled against Toronto the first time. They just don't strike out a whole lot either, and he's been atrocious on the road, which is where he's at this evening. Texas, Atlanta. I think there might be some potential weather in Atlanta. I looked at it earlier this morning, but it should play out. Chris Sale, definitely somebody I want to utilize. Finished the first half in blah way. They dealt with rain delays here in this game against St. Louis. That's why I only went 3 innings. He didn't leave hurt or anything like that. He looked pretty good leading up to that. 3 earned runs or fewer in all but 1 start this season. So that's 16 starts of his 17 starts. 2 earned runs or fewer in, 14 of his 17 starts. Just been phenomenal. May not have the ceiling that we, once thought Chris Sale to have, but still, I think it's a pretty good spot. Overall, I don't worry about facing Texas. I know some of the pitchers we've used recently have been underwhelming against Texas, but I do think overall it is a plus matchup for Chris Sale. And Cal Quantrill is not somebody I'm using on a 14-game slate ever. If he beats me, he beats me, and so be it. Interesting game between Miami and the Brewers. Miami doesn't really strike out a whole lot, but a few of their batters have definitely cooled off going into the break. Logan Henderson's been pretty impressive at the major league level so far. I think he's going to be somebody I'm going to sprinkle in this evening, just because he's somebody that probably goes overlooked, surrounded by Sale, Bryce Miller, Gavin Williams, Troy Melton against the Angels. I think Logan Henderson is somebody that makes a lot of sense for GPP purposes because of the potential ownership. Sandy Alcantara is somebody that I play far too often. I generally prefer him pitching at home. He struggled against the Brewers. First time he faced them, 6 walks in 5 innings, just 1 strikeout. I'm not really going to use pitching against the Brewers when they're at home, especially right-handed pitching. Left-handed pitching does intrigue me a little bit. Allows a ton of base runners on the road. So, unfortunately, tonight is not a night that I will be using Sandy Alcantara. Minnesota and the Cubs. Winds blowing out to center field in Wrigley. I have zero interest in either pitcher. Bailey Ober has home run issues, so not the most ideal. Baltimore, Houston. Peter Lambert and his reverse splits probably in play. Pretty reverse splits, strongly, I should say. 26 plus fantasy points in 3 of his last 5 starts. He's been better when on the road, unfortunately, but still pretty solid at home as well. 11 home runs allowed in 86 innings. Pretty solid. That was after just allowing 1 home run in the first nearly 30. So he's allowing a few more home runs, but still was decent against Baltimore. as far as didn't really allow hits or anything, but struggled with some control the first time. I think he's in play because of those reverse splits really play against a team like Baltimore. On the other side, Dean Kramer. I think I'm going to sprinkle him in, but I am worried. He has given up 9 home runs in 22 innings so far. That's not ideal. 7 of those have come against left-handed batters. That's really not ideal against Yordan Alvarez. San Diego, Kansas City. I am going to end up passing on pitching. Game total in this is double digits. Michael King's somebody that we can always consider, but his K numbers just aren't there. Hasn't had more than 5 since middle of May. In Kansas City, so-so in the strikeout department, so I'm not getting there. Seth Lugo, not really somebody I want to use on a 14-game slate. Cincinnati and Colorado and Coors, not getting to either pitcher. I say that a lot about Brady Singer, and then he comes out and looks decent sometimes. Shut down Milwaukee, was decent against Philadelphia, but I'm just not using him in Coors. I will live with him beating me because I actually like the Coors left-handed bats, or at least Colorado's left-handed bats. Gabriel Hughes had his best performance against the Dodgers last time out. Pretty strong fantasy point performance from a guy like Hughes. Probably not getting there against Cincinnati. Detroit and LA. Pitching matchup that I do like for tonight. We know that the Angels strike out a bunch. Troy Mountains throw the ball really, really well. 22 plus fantasy points in 5 out of his last 6 starts. Coming off of a 31. 16 strikeouts over the last 11 and 2/3 innings. 17 ground balls, just 2 fly balls in those 2 starts. Very strong trends for Troy Melton. Somebody that I think I'm just going to have to force myself to be overweight on. Reed Detmers on the other side. We know how much I love playing Reed Detmers. We also know how volatile he is. 11 walks over his last 4 starts, 5 home runs allowed over his last 3. Those are issues. But when he's on, we see 31, 23, 23, 43, 33. Just big time upside. Not as strong on the road, but thankfully he's pitching at home. For some reason, I thought this was in Detroit, but it is not. Pitching at home has been his best spot. Probably due for some positive regression on the runs allowed at home category, since the underlying numbers are much stronger. He's yet to pick up W at home. I would like to see that happen this evening, so I will be on the Detmers train. St. Louis, Arizona, McGreevy and Kelly. I am not getting to either pitcher at this point. McGreevy coming off of what I would guess probably his second best start of the season. I just don't really think it's a spot I love. He's on the road where he's been far worse. Arizona surprisingly doesn't strike out enough for me, and McGreevy is not a strikeout pitcher, so I'll pass. And Merrill Kelly is just somebody I'm not using ever, especially when he's pitching at home. He's coming off of his best start of the season, but still, I am not getting to Merrill Kelly. Washington and the A's. Interesting matchup. 2 pitchers, 2 younger guys that I'm a fan of. Gage Jump has some big-time upside, but then he's got some horrendous performances. 2 out of his last 3 starts have been atrocious when pitching at home. He had this dominant start when pitching at home, but that was also against the Angels, who strike out an absolute crap ton. Big difference in his overall numbers when pitching at home and on the road. I'm probably not getting to Gage Jump this evening, so I am worried that I'm going to miss out on a strong performance. Cage Cavalli, I am going to utilize a little bit of Cage just because he does have upside, and I think the A's lineup can struggle enough. Now, I don't really want to be too invested, though, because obviously that ballpark, good things happen. For hitters, that is. Last game of the night, San Francisco and Seattle. Landon Raup taking on Seattle. I probably need to consider him. I'm just not sure if I want to go to Raup. He's been worse on the road. This is a good ballpark for pitching, but still, I don't think I want to get there. It's definitely up for debate. Bryce Miller on the other side. Terrible starts, finished first half, but he's been so strong. Somebody I'm going to love to play, even though San Francisco's offense is just sneaky. But I'm still going to play Bryce Miller. But there we have it. There's the first look at the pitching options on the slate. If you enjoyed what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell, and get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., there will be a link in the description below. You can use promo code BESTBALL2026 for 20% off any VIP membership. Best of luck.